here. Derrick Clark from Apopka, Florida. Went to Apopka High School. Attended FSU for college. Played in the NFL for the Denver Broncos from 1994 to 96, and the Oakland Raiders in 1997. Also played in NFL Europe for the Rainfire in 1996, and again from 1997 to 1999. He won the World Bowl six in 1998 with the Rainfire and was also All NFL Europe that same season. He finished his playing career in 2001 for the Orlando Rage in the XFL. He is the owner of the SLAA and also owner of the three-time champion Daytona Beach Broncos. We have Coach Derrick Clark. What's up, Coach Clark?
What's up, man? I'm honored to be here. I feel privileged, man, to be on Full of Smoke. You know me. I don't do too much getting on social media and these platforms, but hey, for you, man, I do what I have to do for you.
Man, appreciate you, man. Like I told you, I'm trying to do something different. I know everybody used to me kind of always having that jokey part of Full of Smoke, but I also want to go ahead and start doing things like this so that we can have some serious moment and give people their flowers, especially when they're deserving of it, such as you. So let's go ahead and get started, man.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Coach, it say you from Apopka, Florida, man. How was it? How was it growing up in Apopka, Florida, man?
Man, listen, man, I grew up on the south side of Apopka, which is like the south side of the tracks. Uh, and in the neighborhood or the hood, you have that side of the tracks there where you don't want to go on that side of the tracks. But I grew up there, man, and it was tough. Unfortunately, I had grandparents that I was raised by that really took good care of me, man. I was raised in the hood. I still, didn't want for too much of anything, and I just, I enjoyed it, man. I to this day, I got it tattooed on my arm, APK for life, because that's where it all started for me at.
Man, it sounded like Apopka was definitely where it was, man, back in the day. Honestly, man, it sounded like that's where all the talent was, man. So let me ask this: growing up in Apopka, how was recruiting like for you in high school? I know we see all this stuff going on now with the newer age high school recruiting. How was recruiting for you in high school at that time?
It was because see, for one, people don't know I was a two sport All American. My first love was basketball.
See, that's something new for me. I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. Actually, in 1989, I was an honorable mention McDonald's All American.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so my first love, like I said, I started playing basketball at 8 years old. I didn't start playing football. Actually, I never played Pop Warner football. I uh, I grew up, like I say, in the Parker, man, and actually I was out throwing the football. I was like 11 years old. I was out throwing the football in the street, and our mailman, who actually was running a flag league, and he asked my grandma, he's like, "Hey man, you want to play flag football? You can be my quarterback." I was like, "I don't know. You had to ask my grandma." So he went and asked my grandma. Long story short, he said, "Hey ma'am, you don't have to worry about nothing. I'll make sure he's taking care of everything good." And man, we went on. I went on and played flag football for from 11 to 13 years old. And we were the Jets. Our rival was the Steelers, which was ran by my cousin, who wanted me to play for him. But I was just so loyal to my team that I couldn't just up and leave my team like that. But to fast forward to recruit wise, man, recruiting was what it was. We didn't have all the television and people coming out taking videos of it. We didn't have that. All we had was that reel that went around and
That old school.
took yeah, that old school reel. You know what I'm saying? That you got it might snap on this shot, so you got to tape it back together. So yeah, recruiting was
I
rough,
know
man.
exactly what
So
you're talking about.
yeah, so back then in my days, you had to really be a dog to be notified. You know what I'm saying? To be noticed. And like I said, I grew up, with players such as like right before my time was like Aaron Jones, who was a first round draft pick out of Popka. Sammy Smith was a first round draft pick out of Popka. Uh, then came along myself and Brandon Merriweather, Warren Sapp.
Yeah,
Uh,
I actually saw that too as well with them.
yeah,
So it
man.
seems like
So
Apopka is where it's at when it
yeah,
comes to that NFL talent.
yeah, man. You know, we're a little old small town, but breeding with a whole lot of NFL talent. You know, Jalen Carter, he from Apopka. So you know, we just it just to be honest, man, it's a little small town, but bred with great athletes, man. Great athletes.
Man, look, I ain't gonna lie, man. Everything I've heard about Apopka from this point on has always been dogs. But I was always told that how y'all got fast was chasing bunnies and rabbits and stuff in the fields and stuff. That's how y'all got fast for real.
Well,
That's what I was
actually,
always told.
and you know, we kind of stole that idea from Belgrade because they the original Fred Taylor and them originally ones who started doing that.
Yeah,
Edwin James and they started doing that in Belgrade, and so you know we couldn't burn no cane field, but we could chase around in the orange grove, and that's what we did, man.
hey, you got to do what you got to do to get it done, man.
Yeah,
So So after high school, like I said, you go to Florida State. But we all know at college, that was your growing, that was your stomping stone. That was your stepping stool for you to get to where you get to. So
right.
after college, how was the process of getting to the NFL? Because again, I know it was strenuous. I know it was a lot of stuff that goes in between that. But how was that process like for those who's never been through that before?
I'd like to rewind just a little bit back to my
Go
senior
ahead.
year in high school, because like I said, I was recruited, and one of the main schools that wanted me was Eastern Kentucky, which, like I say, Aaron Jones was a first round draft pick out of Eastern Kentucky from Apopka, and I had the opportunity of signing with them, and I got myself in a little bit of a pickle, man. You know, I did something that was very uncharacteristic of myself. Um, you know, a teacher and I got into a altercation, and I ended up getting suspended from school the last 2.5 weeks before finals. So actually,
Man,
I didn't graduate from high school. I went back home, talked to my grandma about things, and my homeboy who we was real tight, his name Brian Miles, we call him Action B. I was getting a call from a junior college in Kansas, which is Garden City, Kansas. And if you look up, it's one of the top junior colleges in the nation for athletes. And this coach, God rest his soul, Brian McNeely, was down in Apopka looking for me. And he kept telling me, he said, "Man, I'm a coach." He said, "Well, show me all your credentials." So he called me on the phone. He said, "Man, this coach looking for you. Do you want me to bring him to your house?" So he brought him to my house, man. Speed up the process, man. I went up there. I took my GED, passed it, and got into junior college in Garden City, Kansas. When I got there, I was like, "Man, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere." I'm right in the closest airport, major airport in Wichita, Kansas. That's 4 hours and some change away.
oh man, you secluded.
Yeah, man. I'm riding down the road, and God rest his soul, Mr. Gary, who picked me up from the airport. We were riding. I'm like, "Man, what's that smell? Look at all these cows. That's all I see is cows." He said, "Young man, that's the smell of money." I said, "You have to smell this every day?" He said, "Every single day when you wake up and go to bed, you have to smell this here." I said, "My goodness." So man, I'm there, I'm there, and I'm knowing I'm the man coming out of Parker, and I'm like, "Man, I don't know if I can take this here, man." I'm like getting overlooked because I got other great athletes from different parts of Parker, Pensacola, Tampa, Pahokee, and I'm like, "Man, boy, listen, they just ain't looking at me, man. I think I'm gonna just go home." So my high school teacher, God bless her, Miss Sue Beecher, I call her my white mom, man, because she been just that to me from all through high school. She made sure I got things that I needed, even when I didn't make it to graduate. She made sure I got things I needed to go through to get my GED and stuff from junior college. But man, she got my flight up there, and she called my coach because I kept calling her. I bet my God rest my grandma's soul. I bet phone bill was $1,000 for 1 week, bro. Because I wouldn't let my
Hey,
grandma get off the phone. I kept telling her, "No, ma, don't hang up. You got to talk to me." And man, I kept saying, "Man, I ain't gonna make it here." And she said, "Baby, just hang in there." So I didn't know I had a round trip ticket to come back to Florida.
oh
To this
man.
day, I don't know how my English teacher got Coach McNeil and his wife to come get that plane ticket from me. And they got it from me, man. And I just thank God, and it was God plan that it was got from me, because I went on, man, my second year. I did well my freshman year. My second year, man, I became the number 3 athlete in the whole nation coming out of junior college.
And that's how you got to Florida State.
That's how I ended up going to, and how I got to Florida State. My roommate, who was named Kelly Rush, he was the number 1 defensive tackle in the nation from McKeesport, Pennsylvania. And man, they wanted him so bad. So they were watching film, looking at him, and they kept saying, "Well, who is number 3? Who is number 3?" And they came down and they talked to me, and they signed him and signed me, and we flew back to Tallahassee on the governor jet on our recruit visit.
Oh yeah, they wanted y'all bad.
Yeah, man, and we got
They-
there, man. They had my grandma, my mama, and my whole, like, really 8 of my family members already there put up. So I knew, I was like, man, this for me, man. And see, and with Sammy Smith going there, that was like, man, that's where I want to go, to Florida State, because he was from Park, and I was like, Florida State. Oh yeah, I'm going to Florida State. And lo and behold, man, like I say, I had every college in the nation that wanted me out of junior college. And my top 3 colleges was Fresno State and Tennessee and Ole Miss. So it was 4: Florida
Damn.
State, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Fresno State.
I
And
was just
Fresno
hoping you were
State
gonna
was
say that
leading the
orange and
pack.
blue team.
Yeah, Fresno State was leading the pack. And when I went out there to visit them, Coach Ron Meeks was the defensive coordinator and the defensive back at the time. And Marquez Pope, who a lot of people may not know of, he was a first round draft pick out of Fresno to San Francisco. And he was going to be his senior year, my junior year. He was like, "Man, you come here, man, you can start. I'll move from free safety to strong safety. You can start at free safety." I was like, "Well, bet, man, I'm coming." And when I got ready, Coach Sweeney, who was the head coach at the time, we were sitting down talking and wrapping everything up, and he made the mistake and say, "Well, it do snow out here sometime, and the bridge shut down, and you might get trapped out here for a couple of weeks and not be able to go home." I didn't
Oh
tell
no.
him, but when I called my grandma, I said, "Oh no, I ain't going out there, because I need to get home. I'm a Florida boy. I need to get home."
That weather, you already know it. When you from Florida, that weather is different. When you hit
It's
that other
different,
type of
man.
weather, you be ready to get back.
Because I already had been through the snow blizzards and all that at Kansas. That was my first time ever seeing snow.
Mm-mm. Nah, man, I couldn't. I'm sorry. I did snow. I did snow just recently this year that just passed, and I said, I promise you, I don't want to be nowhere near where it snow again.
Yeah, man. And, it just, like I say, man, Ole Miss, I went there, and, I'm not prejudiced in no way, shape, or form. Not one bone in my body is prejudiced. But, man, I just couldn't take the rebel flag flying and all that country music playing in the Orange Grove when we walked through to the field. In Tennessee, man, I really was leaning toward them, but I was like, man, I could be home at Florida State. And so that what made me sign with Florida State, man, only being 5, 6 hours from home, and my family get a chance to be there every game. And I just love the environment, man. And that what sucked me in at Florida State.
Nah, that honestly, I knew you did go to JUCO, but that story just alone, just your process of even getting to Florida State, it just shows me one that you were willing to do whatever it took to get to wherever you wanted
What
to be at.
what
If you were gonna
whatever.
get to the league, you was gonna do whatever you had to do to get there. That's what that showed me automatically. I
Right,
mean, I already knew you were a go getter, but that just alone kind of intensified it. Just knowing that process of you getting to where you are now.
right.
So so let me
And,
ask this:
and
you
then
won
how I
NFL
get to
Europe bowl,
then
huh?
but how I get to Evangel.
How do you get the advantage? Now that's a quick
Yeah,
question. Now, how do
yeah,
you get
man.
the
How I get
advantage?
the man? Cause man, I'm about to break down in tears, man. Because let me tell you something. That was shown enough God gifted to me right there, man. Because I got in a little trouble at Florida State. Like I tell people, I'm one. Sometimes my wife tell me I'm too honest, but that's just the only way I know how to be. I got myself in a little trouble with a gun situation at Florida State, man. And I got released. Bobby Biden called me in because just year before that, a lineman got killed from Florida State at a party
Oh yeah.
by a gun. And so I got myself in a little pickle there, man. And I end up being released from Florida State, get home, and I'm like, man, what I'm gonna do, man? I'm like, man, I can't stay home, man, because they ain't gonna do nothing but lead me to back leading toward these streets and doing stuff I don't have no business. And I went to a football game which Apopka played Evans. I went to this football game, and God rest his soul, man. I've lost a lot of people that have been keynotes in my life, man, and really been in my hip pocket and making me do the right thing, lead me to do the right thing. And his name was Tracy Lombard. He was a graduate assistant from Apopka, who was actually my junior high assistant head coach, and he was a wrestling coach. And he was a graduate assistant at Evangel University. And I had offers from Idaho State when I got released, but I only could play 1 year because of the eligibility. They said I
Yeah.
had to sit out and I had to play 1 year. I had an offer from Michigan State to go play safety there, but I had to sit out a year. And so I'm saying to myself, man, I got to make a major impact if I'm going to play 1 year and try to make it to the league. And I was
Yeah,
playing
you got to
defensive back.
fight that
I was a
1 year.
safety. I was a safety at Florida State. I was a safety in high school. Well, I played everywhere in high school, and I played everywhere in junior college. But at Florida State, I was a safety. I was 6'2" and a half, 6'3", 230. I ran a 4.45 40, 39 and a half in vertical. And I mean, that's what they were looking for. And I was a hitter and didn't care who it was or what I hit, I was going to run through it. And Mickey Andrews, that's what he was looking for. But like I
Yeah.
said, I got myself in the pickle. And then, like I say, I'm at the high school game, Parker Evans, over at Evans, and I run into Tracy Lombard, Coach Lombard. He said, hey, man, I heard about what happened to you. He said, how about you like to go to Evangel? I said, what? I said, man, where is Evangel? What is that? Is that a school? And he was like, yeah, man, this is school. He said, actually, I'm the assistant coach, one of the graduate assistant coaches there. And man, let me tell you, this man, God rest his soul, man, this man was here today sitting next to me. I would tell him to repeat the exact same thing that he repeated to me in 1991. That man said, listen, Derrick, you'll come to Evangel. You want to play running back? I said, yeah, I'm going to go to running back. He said, you'll come to Evangel. You'll break all type of running back records at Evangel. You won't get hurt, and you'll go to the NFL. I said, man, get out of here. He said, we got to do some things. It's a Christian college, so we got to, do some things and get your pastor involved and this and that and the third. So I'm saying to myself, man, I'm going to a Christian college. Man, I'm from the streets. And I'm like, man, I don't know if this is going to make it. But I get there, man, and lo and behold, meet my coach, Coach Barfield, the head coach, meet my running back coach at the time, who was Coach McDonald, meet the other coaches. And man, I go on, I tell you, man, I get the advantage. My junior year, man, I rushed for 1,553 yards, 21 touchdowns, led the nation in rushing and scoring in NAIA Division
Oh
Two.
man.
My second year, I was second in the nation in rushing. I rushed for 1,883 with 23 touchdowns. And like I say, I was second in the nation. Right now, I'm still nationally known as one of the top rushers in NAIA. I almost broke the national touchdown record that was put up by Jamie Mueller, who played for NAIA and went to the Buffalo Bills. He had 48 touchdowns in 4 years. I put up 44 in 2 years. And
All
but
right
man, I just
now.
tell you, man, that just was a great experience for me, man. It was a humbling experience, And, I tell young men today, they talk about that I want to go to the Michigan, I want to go to the Florida, and I have no qualms with that. By all means, if that's what's on your boat, let it float. But I'm telling you, man, you can go anywhere in this world and play football, and if you got them that tenacity and that dog in you, it's gonna be found.
See, that again, this is stuff I did not know because I'm like, I knew again just looking up research, and I knew you went to junior college. Banjo was something new to me. Like just hearing about it, I did see it was a Christian school, so I'm like, all right, But now hearing how that worked out for you, that was just your steps. That was the steps you needed to take to be able to get to where you got to. And to
Exactly.
be honest, man, you did what I know you now to be. You dogged it out to get there, man.
Yep.
Like
Nothing was
that's just
given
something
to me,
that's
man. Nothing was given
yeah,
to me. I
nothing
had
was
to earn
given.
everything.
Nah, man. So let's get here though. So you make it to the NFL. You end up now transitioning between the NFL sometime, and you're also playing NFL Europe, correct?
Right. And I wasn't drafted. I was a unrestricted free agent. And a lot of people
Yep.
don't know this. The first team I signed with out of Evangel was Kansas City Chiefs. That was my
I
first
did
team
not
I
know
signed.
that, and I was digging. I did not know that.
Yep, a lot of people don't know that. My first team was Kansas City Chiefs, and it just didn't work out because they already had Kimball there. Greg Hill had got drafted in the second round to them that year in '94. So it just they just had a lot of backs in the stable, and I got released. And my next call that next day was from the Denver Broncos.
See, you was there with TD. Shannon wasn't there at that time, was he?
Yeah, Shannon was there. I was there with
Yeah, Shannon
Shannon.
was there. Yeah, Shannon was there.
Yeah, Shannon was there. I was there with uh Anthony Miller. I was there with Shannon Sharp, Carl Mecklenburg, Glenn Milburn, Reggie Rivers, uh, Vance Johnson.
Oh yeah, you was there with the team. That was the team. If I'm not mistaken, what the year before that they had just won, or was it 2 years prior to that?
It was 2 years after that, '96, when they won the first one.
Yep.
Yep.
So in 1998, you are now in NFL Europe, and you win your first championship, the World Bowl, in 1998. What was that moment like to you, and also what was the season like getting to that moment?
Being honest, man, it was a grind out season because prior to me coming there in '96, we went 3-7. '97, we made it to the World Bowl against John Kittner in '97, and that '97 is when they had God rest his soul, Lawrence Phillips,
Oh
the
my
great running
God!
back from Nebraska.
Yes, one of the
Yeah,
better running backs I've seen.
they had a squad, boy. And John Kittner threw the air at that ball, and we lost that in '97, and then went back in '98, and like on a 7-3 season, and we ended up playing our rivalry, which was Frankfurt Galaxy. When I tell you that's a rivalry, but that's a rivalry in Germany, and we ended up beating them, man, and it was so surreal, man, because before the game, walking down, because like I said, I led the league in rushing and scoring that season. And I was walking down the alley, and we had to walk past Frankfurt in the tunnel. And they kept saying, oh, and because they called me Showtime in Europe. And they kept saying, it won't be no Showtime tonight, won't be no show. And I'm quiet. I'm like, man, hey, man, let's just play football. Oh, you scared? I'm just keep on doing my business, walking and walking. And as the game got going and they stopped me a couple of times, oh, I told you it won't be tonight. And I put my finger on my lip. And then when I scored a touchdown in the end zone, they did a soccer slide like soccer players do. Man, the people went crazy. And we ended up winning that game, man. And to hold up that trophy, man, it was like a Super Bowl win because that's what it's like over there. And when I tell
Yeah, I
you
was just
those
gonna say that's
people,
what it's
when I
like.
tell you those, yeah, man, when I tell you those people are really like gung ho on NFL players or players that superstars over there, and a lot of people don't know this, Vince. I was on billboards on the highways over there.
Whoa.
I was
So
on I was on beer coasters and posters in pubs over there. I couldn't walk down the street too much alone without a crowd of people.
see, that's type of fame people ask for in their entire like at least throughout their life. For you to actually get to feel that stuff, like to be able to have fans come up to you and want your autograph, man, that had to be a hell of a feeling, man.
Man, that was an awesome feeling, man. And and like I say, man, you know, and I'm just being real, man. And like I say, I just keep it 100 about everything. My wife tell this story to many people. Man, I had women throwing their underwear over the thing to me after the game, bro. They baby pacifiers, bro.
Oh no, man.
I'm just keeping it real, man. I'm talking about it was just so crazy. I'm like, man, these people is wild over here.
I can
And
only
like
imagine Mama Clark over there going off like, why is they
man,
throwing that damn?
man, it was just crazy, man. And and I like I say, man, I mean, and like with my coach was Galen Hall, who was the University of Florida head coach. He treated us like real men. Not that the other coaches from other teams didn't treat their players like real men, but he let us have our own room. We had the third floor and up in the hotel, and every player had their own room.
Nah, that's real. That's
Yeah, you
real.
know what
Most
I'm
times
saying?
they want you to share rooms. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
real.
man,
Though.
and he just kept it 100, bro. And when I tell you that's one of the best coaches I ever played for, man, and this is one of the best coaches I ever played for. Now, one of the most detailed, attention to detail coach I ever played under, and it's two of them. And one of them is Coach Mike Shanahan, my second year at Denver. That's where I
Ooh.
get my offensive mentality from, is him. And what my other one, who I keep in contact with, was my offensive coordinator where we won the World Bowl with Coach Ken Carter in Europe. Those are one of the two most the attention to detail people I ever been involved with when it comes to offense.
Nah, see, hey, I know Mike Shanahan for a fact. I mean, let's keep it honest. He was the coach of RG3 the year RG3 won Rookie of the Year.
Exactly.
Yeah, he know what he's doing. He know about the X's and
You
O's,
know
man.
about them X's O's, man. When I tell you, when you run a route or something, you miss a yard or a half a yard and come. He's like, you see the ball was so late because you didn't. It was so soon because you didn't go to full yard. Go to full yard and watch how the ball is there. Man, you go that full yard or you cut it. You go over a yard or two and the ball coming and you not there. He like, see, you late. And I'm like, man, this is so intense. I was like, man, I've never been a part of nothing like this in my life. So that made me start honing into being attention to detail of offense and paying attention to defense. I'm just attention to detail person, man. And I just
Yeah.
don't have no other way.
Hey, look, you telling me this now, all of it for me, it's like, all right, this is a reconfirmation of who I already knew who you were. Like, this is just, it's amazing just to hear how everything is still rolling in your favor. Like, you working, doing everything you got to do to get to where you want to be, and it's all working out for you, man.
Right.
So, after your playing days, you got into coaching youth, from what I looked up. You got into
Yeah.
coaching youth football.
Yeah, I landed in that by mistake. I landed in that by mistake. And
Talk about that transition.
how I got to doing that was just out just watching and checking out some young men that I had came in contact with, and the organization asked me and my wife, "Will we do it?" And my wife said, let me see what my husband think about it, and we'll talk about it. And I actually end up doing it. And actually, a couple of my players that play for me right now is the first kids I coached in Pop Warner.
Now that's a full circle moment.
Yeah,
Wow, wow.
yeah, yeah.
So you like,
Mason,
hey, I ain't trying to compare you to him, but you and Coach Prime got some similarities.
yeah, man. Mason Tandy, who is number 5 on our team, and my tight end Austin Freeze. They were my first kids that I coached at Pop Warner, man.
Oh snap! All right, all right. So that Broncos legacy kind of been in their body since they were young.
Right. So a lot of things that we do when we condition, they already know. They're like, man, listen, I had them to showcase some of the stuff that we were gonna be doing. And they were like, man, y'all did that at 12 and 13. They were like, yeah, boy, coach came in and this is how it was gonna be. And you know, and I tell them all. And I used to tell the parents, I have parent meeting, I say, listen, y'all asked me to be the coach. I'm volunteering for this. I don't care how much money you put into the program, how much money you get a president. That has nothing to do with me. I'm here to coach, I'm here to mentor, and I'm here to teach. That's what my three observations is here to do. And they understood. A lot of them questioned why you move this guy that's an offensive lineman to running back, because I know what I see in him. And this guy that I moved from lineman had never played running back, led our team in rushing that year.
Hmm. Hey, that's the one thing I do hate when parents come out to fight out telling you what their child play. Look, you may have a fixation with what you think your child play, but what he does for our team that's beneficial to our team is what we see.
Is what we see.
I ain't gonna lie, I be dealing with that sometimes, but at this point in my game, I don't have to deal with it as much. I just refer it to the park president. But after you got done coaching youth football, you got into coaching adult amateur football. How did you get into that? Because honestly, as we all have our stories of us going and getting into semi-pro, what was your way? Who brought you into it, and how did you get started with it?
Funny story, man, but it's the honest God truth. We were having a event. We had an event at our church where my wife and I attend uh, Hickory Avenue Church of God in Sanford, Florida. And after the event, my wife got to talking to this lady, and which is the lady name is Lily Wiggins, you know, the Wiggins. And they just got to talking, and she was telling my wife, she said, well, my husband and I, who is Josh Wiggins, they was like, well, we know we want to start a adult amateur football team. And we've been trying to put some things together, and we want to start it in Port Orange. And my wife's like, that's where we live at. And she said, well, look, I don't know if you know or not, but my husband is a former NFL player. And she's like, oh my God, we're looking for coaches and a head coach as we speak. So my wife said, well, there you go. You got a head coach. And I'm saying to myself, like, well, do you know if I want to do this or not? And so we got to talking to them, and one thing led to another, and I had made some good homegrown roots in Port Orange by going through youth football and touching base with the mayor. The mayor and I on a first name basis. We got each other's cell phone number. Well, former mayor now, but Mayor Green. And uh, we went through, and at the time it was the president of the youth league. He was one of the board members of the city council.
Hmm.
So we had to go through this tape. Uh, I had to go to Tuesday night council meetings for the city, my wife and I, and we had to talk to the mayor, talk to the councilmen, the councilman women, and all this about we want to do this semi-pro team, and we want this field, which is Karachi Field, which is the youth field. We want to play there, and long story short, the president of the youth league spoke up for my wife and I. He said, I agree that they should do this because they did something I never seen done in youth football. My wife and I were the first one to start checking kids' academics.
Now that's what's up.
Yeah,
Most
we
coaches
the
looking to
first.
just win.
Yeah, we were the first one to start checking kids' academics. We didn't want kids to just think it was all about football. And I still preach this when I do mentoring to young kids. If you don't have an academic, if you don't have education, you don't have football. Because education leads you to football, and football leads you the way you need to go or where you want to be. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can get there, and I noticed that the numbers have substantially rose when it comes to 1 out of 1,000 that make it to the NFL. I've heard now it's like 3 to 4 out of 1,000 out of one that make it to the next level. So it's become substantially harder. So without an education, man, you can't get the way you want to go in life
Exactly.
unless you got that brain mentality. So I preach
Exactly.
that even to my adult guys. You know, I tell them, hey man, you want to go back to college? No, coach, I just want to play football. I said, well, guess what? You got to do something that's why we preach hard on doing stuff for the community, man, because we want you to be a star in this community. And you know, my wife and I are real. I'm on the first. I'm on the. I call him Chief Young, but he and I on a real good basis. I got his cell number. He got my cell number. He and I talk, you know, periodically. And he told me, he said, man, whatever you doing, coach, keep doing it. Man, these guys that I usually see on the streets or I got the handcuff, I don't see them out here like that no more. I see them doing positive things in the community. And I don't want that pat on the back for that because I want them to have that. I just want to do my part that God called me to do, man. And that's why you see I don't get on social media with all that, oh, I'm this, I'm that. God knew who I am, and that's all that matters to me. I just want to
There
be
you
what
go.
God called me to be.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Nah, but this to kind of piggyback what you said off a student about the kids in school and academics, something I preach to my son, not to this day. You can't you got to be a student athlete. You can't be just the athlete. You got to be
Right.
the student in the classrooms Monday through Friday, so that way you can be that athlete on Fridays and Saturdays. It
Correct.
don't go. You can't have one without the other. So you got to be that. So I'm just to
Yeah.
hear that y'all took that and took the initiative to take that step to say, hey, we're gonna make sure these kids are academically right. Like that's something
Yeah.
that again I hold myself to, and I can just say, hey man, I'm glad I can now, hey, know somebody that was on that started, hey,
Hey,
saying, hey, academics is something that we really, really need to be paying attention to.
and man, parents bought into it. Parents bought into it so well because they knew that we care. It wasn't just about your kid playing. Because guess what? If I got an F or a D from off your, we did progress report every week. Every week, it had to be signed by a teacher. And if it wasn't signed by a teacher, I had this drill that was called the clown drill because that let me know you're not taking things serious and you want to be a clown. And I had teachers that had my cell number that would call me and say, hey, such and such was being a clown in school today. He had in school suspension. Thank you, Mr. So and so. Don't worry about it. I take care of today. Guess what? They're gonna practice all practice and they're gonna run after practice with everybody. And now it's time for the clown drill. You might have
See,
50 up down, you might bear crawl 100 yards, you might roll 200 yards. All that gonna be the clown drill because you want to be a clown and still being a student athlete.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and parents, and I had parents call me and my wife from their own home and say, Coach, I can't get such and such to act right. I said, oh, put them on the phone. All I got to do is say, what's going on? They break down and cry. I said, oh no, but you were just cussing like you grown. Wait a minute, what's going on?
You want to be tough before I get on this phone, but now
Yeah,
I'm on this phone, you got all these crocodile tears.
yeah, you got these crocodile tears. So guess what? You got the clown drill tomorrow. Yeah, I held my young men, my young players accountable. I told them it's not your mama, uh, it's not your mama problem, it's not your daddy problem, not your grandma problem. You got to make sure your stuff is clean every day at practice. Make sure you got your helmet, shoulder pads, your cleats every day. If you don't, you got the clown drill. That's your responsibility, not theirs.
Exactly. They
And if
they
I had a
responsible for
parent,
bringing you
if
to
I had a
practice.
if I had a parent running late, coming and talking about, oh, I got off a little late, and then, guess what? You should have called me early. I would have went and got him. Guess what? Now he got the clown drill because you made him late.
See, and I don't feel no sympathy. He got to take
No,
these.
no.
Well, in 2019, you started the Daytona Beach Broncos. What went into you starting this organization, and did you ever expect it to be what it is today?
Um, Actually, man, my wife and I had a different vision. Uh, than when we first started in 2016 with the Wiggins, with the Parker Stallion. You know, I used to tell them about Coach Craig, man. You know, I used to tell them, hey, man, that's our promoter. That's the man that gonna go get it for us. No. So then we left there after 2 years and went with the Cougars, the Miracle City Cougars. That
Mm-hmm.
didn't pan out. Nobody saw my wife and our vision. And we had players saying, man, Coach, Pop, Mom, if y'all don't start y'all own thing, we not gonna do this no more. My wife and I came home, we talked, we prayed on it, and we went to church that Sunday, man. We never told our pastor about it. And he spoke it in existence to us after church. He said, God told me that y'all need to start your own team. And I said to myself, look at God, man. God be working, man.
All you needed was that reaffirmation.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed. So me and my wife and I, we saw how to start our own LLC, and and I tell everybody, man, I'm smart, but my wife is the brains of all organizations that go on with us. That she is the brains, bro. When I tell you this
We got
woman
to
is
give
a
Mama her roses too. Now, Mama
man,
definitely be handling her business.
man, this woman handle business, man. I'm telling you, when I'm doing the season, man, I be trying to get her to chill. This woman up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm asleep. And I got to get up at 5:30 to go to work. And we doing this all over again. Practice, she up late, I'm up late. And you know, that just the commitment that we had for this, because we knew if we wanted something great, we had to work for it, and nothing was gonna be given to us. And we brought Coach Craig on as our sponsorship sponsor, go get him. And when I tell you this man did his thing, man, this man do his thing to this day.
Yes,
And
he do.
yeah, man, this man do his thing, man. And I get people that I go sit down and he take me to see. He said, man, this man won't take no for an answer. I said, no, he won't, and he will not do it. He ain't gonna. You gonna have to tell him, come see me later. I pick up the check tomorrow, because he ain't gonna take nothing different.
Mm-mm.
But you know, like I said, we saw this vision, man. We jumped on it, and like I said, our first year, 2016, we ended up being 5-1. Uh, and then we caught on the. 2019, we ended up. You know, that caught up with the COVID year. That started COVID
Yeah,
year.
that was that COVID year.
Yeah, we ended up being 5-1, and we like, man, how we gonna pursue this thing with this COVID? So we took precaution, man. We did the necessary thing. The state law, we abided by the rules and regulations. We checked temperatures during practice. Things we had to do. 2020, we was like, man, this thing here, we got to get this thing jumping. We started out, we had a good season. We went to, uh, we was a game from making the playoff. In 2021, going into 2022, we jumped out. We were 8-2. We went to the playoff in 2021. We lost to the Avengers in the first round.
Ah,
Yeah, and matter of fact, we lost them, and that's when they took our quarterback, which was Pate. They took our quarterback. They say he brandished a weapon in the in the playoff game, and he didn't. And brandished a weapon and showing a weapon, and he out there playing on the field is a whole different ball game.
that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, man. But you know, we took it on the chin, and we only lost to them 10-0, and we didn't even have a quarterback, and they didn't score 10 until in the fourth quarter.
That sounds
So
like a defensive game to me.
so right then, that told me that we had something special. So going into 2022, I built on what we started. And when we had that run in 2022 and only lost one game, and went on and blew the Broward Outlaws out 36-6 or 42-6, and they cut the lights off in with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I knew then. I said, boy, I'm building something here. I said, God, just stay with me and just I'm going to trust in you. And like I said, man, everything I do, man, I put God first. Everything I do. I trust God and I believe God with everything I have in me. That's what me and my wife build our life on, is trusting God. And that's why I always say people can get on social media, talk about us, they can slay us, but God got us, man. And that's every day God got us, not just one day, every day.
Every day.
And
Amen to
when
that.
we made the run in 2023, and we FCFL champs in 2022, and we won it again in 2023, and we lost that one game by 2 points on a safety, and TJ wouldn't let us live it down.
Oh, I remember that. I remember
Oh my
that.
God, Vince! When I tell you, man, he was like a thorn in my side. Every time I turn on social media, he talking about, oh, we made it. We beat y'all on a layup. We beat y'all on a layup. And I kept saying, I said, man, I want to play them so bad. And I kept telling my players, hey, man, don't worry about them. We'll see them in the playoffs. But little do they know, I wasn't even sleeping that night during the week.
TJ had you going like that.
Man, Mark Clark was like, baby, you all right? I said, no, baby, I want to play the Bulls right now. I want to play them before the end of the season. I even tried to play them on our week off. And Dunny came back and said, "No, man, we good. We'll play out in the playoff." And boy, when we played them in the playoff, we beat them 26-6 in the conference championship. Then we went on to win the championship. Lost one game again in 2023. 2024 came. We lost one game again. Ended up beating the Predators. We lost to the Predators. We beat them the first game of the season. They beat us 4-8. I think it was 48-22 or 48-26. They beat us at their place. And then it came the championship game in Lakeland. We playing them, and we didn't know they had done rented them famous TikToker. They come in the locker room before the game and talking about they gonna beat the brakes off us, and yeah, we finna win this rain. They know they know what we did to them at our place. They already know what's coming. And when we jumped out on them 22-0, but you couldn't hear a rat pee on cotton over there, boy. But I'm trying to tell you, boy. But they already knew we had took the fight out of them. And lo and behold, the refs let them get back in the game. You know, and I'll say this, we're on live, say this
You
to the
keeping it
ref.
honest, man.
Yeah, I'm keeping it 100, bro. They called back 5 of our touchdowns, 2 on offense and 3 on defense. But it should have been
I
another
ain't even gonna lie. I
blowout.
watched that game. I knew they was dead from the jump, and that's no disrespect.
Yeah, ain't
But
no disrespect, man. Hat off to them. They had a great first season. They had a great organization, man. They still have a great organization. They do great things in the community. And I love Hollywood and his wife to death. They know this. Because like I say, man, to this day, with me dealing with going through battling with this cancer, bro, from time to time, him and his wife will text my wife to check on me. And that means a whole lot to me.
see, that's again, man. This your story alone, just hearing you out, man. This tells me that, man, you kept God first in everything, and that's why you are where you are right now. You are a soldier. You one of His very own, and He knew that from the beginning, man. So just hearing every bit of what I'm hearing now, man, this was already dead. This was already pre-written for you to have it like this, man. You just had to go work and do it. And
That's
be
right.
honest, man, just hearing it, I'm just glad to be in your presence, man, because hey, this is just an amazing story. But I got to finish. I got 3 more before we finish. But man,
Okay.
this story so far has just been amazing. No lie, man. So you guys went on to win not 1, not 2, but 3 league championships in a row. How hard was it to keep that going?
It wasn't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Ah,
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Cause
hey, you ain't wrong with that.
one thing my players will tell you about playing for me, I'm a structured person. I'm. You gonna either do it my way or the gate stay open for you. Point blank. I don't care if you're a superstar, you're the hero. You're gonna do it my way, or it ain't gonna be done. And
That's
I'm
real.
and I'm and I'm a coach that respect his players. I don't allow all that cussing on the field. I don't allow that, and they'll tell you that. I don't allow that. Now, if you get upset and they come out of you get in an argument or they come out on the field, now I'm coming and we're gonna discuss that, and they're gonna tell me straight up, Coach, I apologize. I got out of pocket. I was heated. I respect that. But we're not gonna just throw curse words all over the field just because you're grown. I'm grown.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're not just gonna do it. And then I got my wife and my daughter, ladies out there that work on our staff with their daughters, got young kids running around. That's not how we're gonna conduct ourselves.
That's how it's supposed to be done. I
But
mean,
yeah,
I, I personally,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Vince.
I personally was seeing the sidelines at y'all game, and one thing I do know: if you ain't saying it, Mama is yelling it.
That's
Y'all better
right.
cut all that cussing.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, well,
And,
after the
and to show
2023,
you the respect I have for the game, just like to Sean when he took over the Wolves last year, and they
yep,
came and we'll beat them 80 to like 12 or something. And I didn't know this, nobody knew this, but my outside linebacker Kenny Jackson, who was our kickoff guy, he kicked the onside kick, and they hurt the guy that got the onside kick. But I stopped the game, called him up in the huddle, and I know somebody got this on. If you probably can see it on YouTube, but I went off on them. We don't do that. That's classless. We don't do that.
that ain't Bronco football.
No, that ain't Bronco football. And guess what? But ask them how they felt after Tuesday practice. They didn't want they were scared to even hear kick on side. Man, I about killed them.
Hey man, that's that type of old school coaching that a lot of us still need to this day.
Yeah. And like I say,
Well,
I'm friends with my players, but I respect my players and they respect me and they know what I say and I mean what I say and they know that. They know the difference.
well, after the 2023 season, you and your wife started the SLAA. What went into that process and why now?
Again, nobody saw our vision and no knock on no other league. And I'm gonna say their name, no knock on the Bears because he had been running the longest tenure league at that time, the FCFL. We had picked up little tidbits from the FFA when we was in the FFA. We picked up some tidbits from the SFL. You know, we decided we wanted to do our own thing, and that's just like with any organization, any franchise. People gonna get ideas from other people to try to twist things and make them right for themselves, and that's why I get tired of hearing on social media, oh, they copying us. Oh, they doing what we do. Oh, they do. Publix do some of the things that Walmart do. Walmart do some of the things that Winn Dixie does. But it's no beef. Everybody after the
Mm-mm.
same thing. And
There you go.
that's to be a better organization. So we
Yeah,
saw
and
this
this.
vision for ourselves and that we know that we do things different than people. We know we're not gonna go and just strip a person. We're gonna try to help them before we dismantle them. And with you being firsthand, you see we want to help before we hinder anybody.
Always,
We
always,
always thinking help. So that's the
man.
difference between us and others. Not saying they don't help, but we help in different ways.
We go above and beyond when it comes to helping.
Correct.
Well, I got one more question before I let you go, Coach.
Okay.
Now, 2 years into being a league owner, what does year three of the SLAA hold for the future?
Man, what our vision is that we want it to be bigger. We want more teams. Uh, But at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, we're going to allow God to continue to lead us and let him put a number on what he think that we can hold in this league. And we just going to follow suit and do what he called us to do, point blank.
Hey, that's all we can do, man. I just want to say this before I do get you leave, man. If I've never told you before, the reason I call you Pop is because you remind me so much of my dad, and I ain't gonna break down to it, but you remind me of my dad that raised me, who gave me his name, man. And just being around your presence and just having your guidance the way that you do guide us, man, I appreciate that, man. I truly, truly do. If no one else tells you, man, you are one of those ones, man. You're one of them ones that we need around here and that we truly appreciate, man. So I just want to give you your roses now before anybody else does and tell you, man, you are truly appreciated, man. And we all appreciate you and every bit of what you've done for not only semi-pro, but for everybody just coming up, especially hearing about those guys that you coached since they were young. Like, I'm pretty sure they all feel the same way I feel, man. So I just want to say we appreciate you and we thank you for everything you've done.
Hey, I got one more thing I'm gonna throw out there. And some people don't know this, but my wife and I have bought into a professional flag football team. And it's the GFFL Global Flag Football League. It's the website and up and everything. We have a men and a women team here in Daytona Beach called the Daytona Beach Racers. And my wife and I are the first owners to actually have a team over in Europe, men's and women team in Europe, which is called the Showtimers. So man, we're extending our arm out, man, and that's why I wear this shirt, man. Football life, that's what I live, man.
Football life is what it is.
So
Well,
that
again,
and actually we on the 2026 schedule for the GFFL flag next season. So I'm gonna be a busy man. So I'm praying for a speedy recovery and health at the end of this cancer battle, man, and so I can get back to what God called me to do.
I just want you to know it's already ordained that you're going to get through this. You're going to get through this and be 10 times stronger.
I
So I just
appreciate
want
it.
you to know that automatically.
I appreciate it, man.
But
And if
what I
I ain't
will
never
do
told
is
you, if I ain't never told you, man, I love you like a son too, man. And I tell my wife all the time, man, I love that Vince, man, and I respect you. And I'm saying that from the heart, man. I love you.
thank you, man. Love y'all too, man. Well, what I
All
do
right.
want to do is after I post this video, I want to post that link of you guys, the league for the flag football league, so that way people can be able to go to it.
Okay.
But if I can, I get mama to send that to me so I can post it with the video. But it's full of smoke, y'all, man. I got another all access. Y'all heard it here with Coach Derrick Clark of the Daytona Beach Broncos and owner of the SLAA, man. Y'all tune in for more. We're going to have some more drops.